In the last episode, humanity teetered on the brink of collapse, ravaged by environmental disaster and societal upheaval. Yet amidst the ruins, a beacon of hope emerged in the form of Ambrose Wynter, a brilliant and charismatic entrepreneur. With a vision for a brighter future, Ambrose began to forge unlikely alliances with marginalized species, equipping them with cutting-edge technology that propelled humanity forward. As humans expanded into the galaxy, Ambrose navigated the treacherous landscape of alien politics, securing crucial resources and showcasing adaptability in the face of overwhelming odds. The city of New Eden sprawled before me like a canvas of steel and stone, its towering skyscrapers piercing the smog-choked sky like shards of splintered glass. I stood atop the Wynter Corporation's headquarters, gazing out upon the ruins of a world that had been ravaged by humanity's neglect. The wind whipped through my hair as I surveyed the landscape, my mind racing with the challenges that lay ahead. How did it come to this? I thought, recalling the desolate wastelands that once gave way to sprawling metropolises. The wars, the environmental disasters, the collapse of governments. It seemed like an eternity since humanity's precipitous decline began. As I pondered the past, my thoughts turned to the present. The Galactic Union, a loose confederation of alien species, had been watching humanity's rise with a mixture of fascination and suspicion. Some saw us as a threat, a fledgling empire poised to upset the balance of power. Others viewed us as potential allies, worthy of support and investment. I descended into the bustling streets of New Eden, where the hum of activity was a testament to human ingenuity and resilience. The Wynter Corporation's engineers and technicians were working tirelessly to develop cutting-edge technology, pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible. My team, a diverse assembly of experts, awaited my arrival in the conference room. "Ambrose, we're ready to brief you on the Kralian negotiations," said Rachel, my chief strategist, as I entered the room. The Kralian, a reclusive and enigmatic species, had expressed interest in forming an alliance with humanity. Their advanced biotechnology had the potential to revolutionize our medical research, but I was acutely aware that their motivations were shrouded in mystery. "What do we know about their terms?" I asked, taking a seat at the head of the table. "From what we've gathered, they are willing to share their technology in exchange for access to our advanced manufacturing capabilities," Rachel replied, her eyes locked on mine. A calculated risk, I thought, weighing the pros and cons. If we could secure a partnership with the Kralian, it would not only bolster our medical research, but also provide a crucial foothold in the galaxy. I nodded, a decision crystallizing in my mind. Let's prepare a delegation to meet with the Kralian. We'll need to tread carefully, but I believe this alliance has the potential to change the course of human history. Little did I know, however, that this bold move would set off a chain reaction of events that would test the very foundations of our fragile existence. Old rivalries would be rekindled, new alliances forged, and the stakes would escalate to a boiling point. As I stood to leave, a sudden commotion erupted outside the conference room. Alarms blared and urgent whispers spread through the corridors like wildfire. "What's happening?" I demanded, my heart racing with anticipation. "An encrypted transmission has been intercepted," Rachel replied, her face pale. "It's a message from an unknown sender, but the contents—" She hesitated, her eyes darting to the security team. "What is it?" I pressed, a sense of foreboding growing in the pit of my stomach. The message reads, "Ambrose Wynter, your greatest ally is also your greatest enemy." My mind reeled as I processed the ominous warning. Who could have sent such a cryptic message, and what did they mean? The game had changed, and I was about to discover that the line between friend and foe was far more blurred than I ever could have imagined. The transmission ended as abruptly as it began, leaving me with more questions than answers. But one thing was certain: the fate of humanity hung in the balance, and I was now faced with a daunting task to unravel the web of deceit and uncover the truth before it was too late. I called for an immediate assembly of my top advisors, ordering Rachel to dig deeper into the cryptic message. Who could have sent it? And what did they mean by claiming my greatest ally was also my greatest enemy? The words echoed in my mind like a warning, casting a shadow of doubt over the fragile alliances I had forged. As we converged in the crisis room, a sense of urgency hung in the air. The faces around me were etched with concern, their usually stoic expressions replaced by whispers of uncertainty. "We need to consider the possibility that this is a trap," Rachel said, her voice laced with caution. "A ploy to undermine our confidence in our allies." I nodded, my mind racing with the implications. The Kralian, the Zorvaths, the Zeridians, which of them could be hiding an ulterior motive? And what of the other, more shadowy organizations that lurked in the Galactic Union's underbelly? "We need surveillance on all our allies," I instructed. "I want to know their every move, their every communication. We can't afford to be blindsided." The room fell silent as my team dispersed to carry out their tasks. I remained, lost in thought, the warning still resonating in my mind. It was then that I noticed a subtle change in the room's atmosphere. The air seemed to vibrate with an almost imperceptible tension, as if the very fabric of our reality had shifted. Suddenly, the doors burst open, and a harried-looking aide rushed in. "Ambrose, we've detected an energy signature unlike anything we've seen before. It's emerging from the heart of the Galactic Union's territory." I felt a shiver run down my spine as the implications sank in. This could be the culmination of the mysterious message or something far more sinister. "Get me more information," I ordered, my voice firm. "I want to know what we're dealing with." The aide nodded, already disappearing into the chaos of the crisis room. I turned to Rachel, my eyes locking onto hers. This could be the moment of truth. Are we prepared to face whatever is coming our way? Her gaze was steadfast, her voice firm. "We'll do whatever it takes, Ambrose. We'll stand together, no matter what the galaxy throws at us." In that moment, I knew that our destiny hung precariously in the balance. The fate of humanity, of our fragile alliances, and of the entire galaxy teetered on the brink of a precipice. And I, Ambrose Wynter, was about to take the leap of faith that would change the course of history forever. As I stood, the room around me dissolving into a blur of activity, I felt the weight of my responsibility, the crushing burden of leadership. But I also felt a spark of determination, a flame that burned brighter with every challenge. For I knew that the true test of our mettle was yet to come, and I was ready to face whatever the universe had in store for us. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and I was about to take the leap of faith that would seal our destiny. The words still resonated within me as I strode out of the crisis room, my heart pounding in anticipation. I could feel the weight of the unknown bearing down upon me, the burden of responsibility threatening to crush me at any moment. I made my way to the operations center, the hub of our surveillance and monitoring systems. The room was alive with activity, technicians and analysts poring over data streams and sensor readings. I spotted Rachel at the central console, her eyes scanning the holographic displays projecting above the main console. "What do we have?" I asked, my voice low and urgent. Rachel turned to me, her expression taut. "We're still trying to pinpoint the source of the energy signature, Ambrose. It's unlike anything we've seen before. The readings are off the charts." I nodded, my mind racing with possibilities. This could be the break we needed, the key to unlocking the secrets of the mysterious message. "Keep digging," I ordered. "I want to know what we're dealing with. If it's a threat, I want to know how to counter it." Rachel nodded, her eyes flashing back to the console. I watched her for a moment, my heart pounding in my chest. This was at the moment of truth. I turned to leave, but a technician's voice halted me. "Ambrose, we're detecting a transmission from the energy signature. It's a message." My heart skipped a beat. This was at the moment we'd been waiting for. "Play it," I ordered, my voice firm. The technician nodded, and a holographic display flickered to life before me. The image coalesced into a figure, a humanoid, its features distorted and indistinct. The voice that spoke was low and gravelly, sending shivers down my spine. "Greetings, Ambrose Wynter," it said. You have been chosen. You have been chosen to bear witness to the truth." The figure vanished, leaving me staring at the blank display. The room fell silent, the only sound the soft hum of the machinery. "What does it mean?" Rachel asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I turned to her, my eyes locked onto hers. "I don't know," I admitted. "But I think we're about to find out." The room erupted into chaos as technicians scrambled to analyze the transmission to decipher its secrets. I stood frozen, my mind reeling with the implications. This was at the moment of truth. And then, as if on cue, the lights flickered and died, plunging the operations center into darkness. The hum of machinery ceased and an oppressive silence fell over us. I felt a presence behind me, a presence that sent shivers down my spine. I turned, my heart pounding in my chest. And that was when I saw it, a figure, looming in the shadows, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. "Welcome, Ambrose Wynter," it said, its voice low and menacing. "I am the harbinger of truth, and you are about to discover the secrets that will change the course of history forever." I stood frozen, my heart racing with every pulse. The figure's eyes seemed to bore into my very soul, their unnatural light casting an eerie glow on the darkened operations center. "Who are you?" I demanded, trying to keep my voice steady. The figure didn't move, its presence seeming to fill the room. "I am the messenger," it replied, its voice unwavering. "And you, Ambrose Wynter, are the chosen one." Rachel stepped forward, her eyes fixed on the figure. "What do you want from us?" she asked, her voice firm. The messenger didn't acknowledge her, its gaze remaining fixed on me. "The time of revelation is upon us," it declared. "The secrets of the universe will be revealed to you, Ambrose Wynter. Are you prepared to receive the truth?" I felt a shiver run down my spine as the messenger's words hung in the air. What secrets could it possibly reveal? And what did it mean by the time of revelation? Suddenly, the lights flickered back to life and the machinery hummed back into operation. The technicians, who had been frozen in shock, began to stir, their eyes darting between the messenger and me. Rachel stepped forward, her hand on my arm. "Ambrose, what's going on?" I turned to her, my mind racing. "I don't know," I admitted, "but I think we're about to find out." The messenger didn't move, its eyes still fixed on me. I felt a strange sense of calm wash over me, as if I was being drawn into a vortex of destiny. "Follow me," the messenger said, its voice low and commanding. Without hesitation, I nodded. I knew that I had to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. Rachel's hand fell away as I followed the messenger out of the operations center, leaving the stunned technicians behind. We walked in silence, the only sound the soft hum of the ship's systems. As we moved through the corridors, I felt the weight of anticipation growing inside me. What secrets lay ahead? And what would be the cost of uncovering them? We finally stopped in front of a door, its surface etched with strange symbols. The messenger raised a hand and the door slid open with a soft hiss. "Enter," it said, its eyes glinting with an otherworldly light. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for what lay ahead. And then, with a sense of destiny guiding me, I stepped through the doorway and into the unknown. The room beyond was dimly lit, the only illumination coming from a series of glowing orbs suspended from the ceiling. The air was thick with an otherworldly energy, and I could feel the weight of the universe bearing down upon me. In the center of the room, a pedestal stood upon which rested a glowing crystal. It pulsed with an intense blue-white light, and I could feel its power calling to me. Suddenly, the room began to fade away, replaced by a vision of the cosmos. I saw stars and galaxies, nebulae and black holes. I saw the universe in all its glory, and I felt the secrets of creation unfolding before me. And then, in an instant, the vision vanished, leaving me staring at the messenger. "What does it mean?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. The messenger's eyes seemed to bore into my very soul. "You have seen the truth," it replied. "Now, you must choose what to do with it." I stood frozen, my mind reeling with the implications. What secrets had I uncovered? And what would be the cost of wielding this knowledge? As I stood there, the universe seemed to hold its breath, waiting for my decision. And I knew that the course of history hung in the balance. The silence was oppressive, heavy with the weight of my decision. I felt the eyes of the universe upon me, waiting for me to make a choice that would shape the destiny of humanity. Rachel's voice broke the silence, her words hesitant. "Ambrose, what did you see?" I turned to her, my mind still reeling from the vision. "I saw the universe," I replied, my voice barely above a whisper. "I saw the secrets of creation." The messenger's eyes never wavered, its gaze fixed on me. "You have seen the truth," it repeated. "Now you must choose what to do with it." I felt a surge of determination, a sense of purpose driving me forward. "I will use this knowledge to benefit humanity," I declared, my voice growing stronger. "I will ensure that our empire remains strong and prosperous." The messenger's expression remained unreadable, but I sensed a hint of approval in its gaze. "Then let us begin," it said, its voice low and commanding. With those words, the room began to change. The orbs of light pulsed brighter and the air seemed to vibrate with energy. I felt a strange sensation, as if my mind was expanding, absorbing new knowledge and power. Rachel stepped back, her eyes wide with wonder. "What's happening, Ambrose?" she asked, her voice barely audible. I didn't answer, my focus fixed on the messenger. I felt a bond forming between us, a connection that transcended human understanding. The room continued to shift, the walls dissolving into a realm of pure energy. I saw visions of advanced technology, of powerful artifacts and ancient civilizations. I saw the secrets of the universe unfolding before me, and I knew that I was being given a gift beyond measure. As the visions faded, I felt a sense of clarity, of purpose. I knew what I had to do, and I knew that I had the power to achieve it. The messenger's eyes seemed to bore into my soul once more. "Remember, Ambrose Wynter," it said, its voice echoing in my mind. "With great power comes great responsibility. Use your gifts wisely." And with that, the room snapped back into focus. The orbs of light faded and the air returned to its normal state. I stood tall, my heart pounding with excitement, my mind racing with the possibilities. Rachel approached me, her eyes filled with a mix of awe and trepidation. "Ambrose, what's happened to you?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I smiled, feeling a sense of destiny guiding me. "I have been given a gift," I replied, my voice filled with conviction. "A gift that will change the course of human history." As I spoke, the door behind us slid open and a figure emerged from the shadows. It was a woman, her features refined, her eyes blazing with an inner fire. "Welcome, Ambrose Wynter," she said, her voice dripping with sophistication. "I am Sophia Patel, the leader of the Galactic Council, and I have come to discuss the future of humanity." I felt a surge of tension, my instincts warning me of danger. But I stood tall, my determination driving me forward. I knew that I was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, armed with the secrets of the universe and the power of the messenger's gift. "What do you propose, Sophia?" I asked, my voice cool and confident. Sophia smiled, her eyes glinting with amusement. "I propose an alliance," she replied. "One that will ensure the prosperity of humanity and the stability of the galaxy." I felt a sense of unease, my mind racing with the implications. But I knew that I had to make a decision, one that would shape the destiny of humanity. And so, with a sense of calm determination, I extended my hand. "Let us discuss the terms," I said, my voice unwavering. As our hands touched, the fate of humanity hung in the balance. And I knew that the course of history was about to take a dramatic turn. The room was filled with an air of anticipation as Sophia and I began to discuss the terms of the proposed alliance. Rachel stood quietly to the side, her eyes fixed on the Galactic Council leader, her expression unreadable. "I must admit, Ambrose," Sophia said, her voice dripping with charm, "I am impressed by your audacity. You have achieved in mere decades what others have failed to accomplish in centuries." I smiled, my eyes never leaving hers. "I have simply done what was necessary to ensure the survival of humanity," I replied, my tone neutral. Sophia's gaze narrowed, her eyes boring into mine. "And now you seek to take the next step, to become a dominant force in the galaxy." I nodded, my determination unwavering. "I will do whatever it takes to secure the future of humanity." Sophia's smile grew, her eyes glinting with amusement. I believe we can help each other, Ambrose. The Galactic Council and humanity can form a mutually beneficial alliance, one that will bring prosperity and stability to the galaxy. I sensed a hidden agenda behind Sophia's words, but I knew I had to play along, at least for now. Listening, I said, my tone cautious. Sophia leaned forward, her eyes locked on mine. We propose a trade agreement. The Galactic Council will provide humanity with advanced technology and resources in exchange for certain concessions. I raised an eyebrow, my mind racing with the implications. What kind of concessions? I asked, my voice firm. Sophia's smile grew, her eyes glinting with triumph. We require access to certain strategic locations within human-controlled space, locations that will provide the Galactic Council with a strategic advantage. I felt a surge of unease, my instincts warning me of danger, but I knew I had to tread carefully to navigate the treacherous landscape of intergalactic politics. I'll need to consider the proposal, I said, my tone measured, but I must ensure that any agreement benefits humanity, not just the Galactic Council. Sophia's expression remained unchanged, but I sensed a hint of irritation behind her eyes. Very well, Ambrose, she said, her voice dripping with condescension. Take all the time you need, but I must warn you. The Galactic Council is not known for its patience. As Sophia turned to leave, I felt a sense of trepidation growing within me. I knew that I had to make a decision, one that would shape the destiny of humanity. And I knew that the course of history was about to take a dramatic turn. The door slid shut behind Sophia, leaving Rachel and me alone in the room. I turned to her, my eyes searching for answers. What do you think, Rachel? I asked, my voice low. Can we trust Sophia and the Galactic Council? Rachel's expression was guarded, her eyes filled with a mix of uncertainty and concern. I don't know, Ambrose, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper, but I do know one thing. We have to be careful, very careful. I nodded, my determination growing. I knew that the fate of humanity hung in the balance, and I was ready to do whatever it took to ensure our survival. As I stood there, surrounded by the secrets of the universe, I knew that the course of history was about to take a dramatic turn, and I was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, armed with the power of the messenger's gift and my unwavering determination. But little did I know, a new threat was emerging, one that would test the very fabric of humanity's existence, a threat that would force me to confront the darker aspects of my own ambition and the true cost of our rise to power. And as I stood tall, my heart pounding with anticipation, I knew that the fate of humanity hung precariously in the balance. The silence in the room grew thick as Rachel's words hung in the air, a stark reminder of the uncertainty that lay ahead. I knew that I had to act, to make a decision that would determine the course of humanity's destiny. I'll need to consult with our advisors, I said, my voice firm, but I have a feeling that Sophia's proposal is merely a precursor to something greater, something that could change the game entirely. Rachel's eyes narrowed, her gaze piercing. What do you mean, Ambrose? She asked, her voice laced with a hint of curiosity. I turned to her, my eyes locked on hers. I think Sophia is hiding something, Rachel, something big, and I aim to find out what it is. Rachel's expression remained guarded, but I sensed a hint of approval behind her eyes. Be careful, Ambrose, she warned, her voice low. The Galactic Council is not to be underestimated. I nodded, my determination growing. I knew that I had to tread carefully to navigate the treacherous landscape of intergalactic politics, but I also knew that I had to be bold to take risks that would secure humanity's future. As I turned to leave, my comms device beeped, signaling an incoming transmission. I raised an eyebrow, my instincts telling me that this was no ordinary message. Ambrose, we have a situation, a voice said, the words laced with urgency. One of our scout ships has detected an anomaly in the outer rim. It's unlike anything we've seen before. I felt a surge of adrenaline, my mind racing with the implications. Get me more information, I barked, my tone firm. I want to know what we're dealing with. The transmission ended, leaving me with more questions than answers. I turned to Rachel, my eyes locked on hers. "It seems that fate has other plans for us, Rachel," I said, my voice low. "Plans that could change the course of history forever." Rachel's expression was unreadable, but I sensed a hint of trepidation behind her eyes. "What are you going to do, Ambrose?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I smiled, my heart pounding with anticipation. "I'm going to uncover the truth, Rachel, and I'm going to do it no matter the cost." The room fell silent once more, the air thick with anticipation. I knew that I had to act, to take risks that would secure humanity's future. And I knew that the fate of humanity hung precariously in the balance. As I stood tall, my heart pounding with excitement, I knew that the course of history was about to take a dramatic turn. And I was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, armed with the power of the messenger's gift and my unwavering determination. But little did I know, the anomaly in the outer rim was merely the tip of the iceberg. A threat was emerging, one that would test the very foundations of humanity's existence. And I was about to face the ultimate test of my leadership. I strode out of the room, my mind racing with the implications of the anomaly. Rachel's words still lingered in my mind, a reminder of the uncertainty that lay ahead. I knew that I had to act fast, to gather as much information as possible about this mysterious phenomenon. As I walked, my comms device beeped again and I answered, my heart still pounding with anticipation. "Ambrose, we've received more data on the anomaly," a voice said, the words laced with urgency. "It's definitely not natural. We're detecting some kind of energy signature, but it's unlike anything we've seen before." I felt a surge of adrenaline, my mind racing with the possibilities. "Get me everything you can on that energy signature," I barked, my tone firm. "I want to know what we're dealing with." I turned a corner, entering the bustling hub of the command center. Screens flickered to life, displaying streams of data and images of the anomaly. My team of scientists and analysts worked tirelessly, poring over the information, trying to make sense of it. I walked up to a holographic display, my eyes scanning the data. The energy signature was unlike anything I'd seen before. It pulsed with an otherworldly power, like a heartbeat from another dimension. "Sir, we're detecting a resonance frequency," one of my analysts said, her voice laced with excitement. "It's like nothing we've ever seen. We think it might be a message." "A message? From whom?" I felt a shiver run down my spine as I realized the implications. This anomaly was not just a natural phenomenon, it was a communication, a signal from an unknown entity. I turned to my team, my eyes locked on theirs. "We need to decode that message," I said, my voice firm. "We need to know what's on the other end of that signal." My team nodded, their faces set with determination. We worked in silence, our minds focused on the task at hand. Hours passed, the tension building as we struggled to crack the code. And then, suddenly, it happened. The screens flickered to life, displaying a message in stark, alien characters. I felt a sense of awe, of wonder as I realized the implications. It was a message from an ancient civilization, one that had long since passed into myth. They called themselves the architects, and they claimed to have shaped the very fabric of the universe. I felt a sense of trepidation as I read the message, my heart pounding with excitement. The architects were offering us a gift, a technology that would grant us unimaginable power, the power to shape the universe itself. But at what cost? I felt a sense of unease as I realized the implications. This was not just a gift, it was a test, a challenge to humanity's resolve. And I knew that I had to make a choice that would determine the course of human history forever. I stood frozen, the words of the architects echoing in my mind like a divine revelation. The room around me seemed to fade away, leaving only the weight of this momentous decision. My team's excited murmurs, the hum of the computers, and the soft glow of the screens all receded into the background as I pondered the implications. A technology that could grant us unimaginable power, the power to shape the universe itself. The possibilities were endless, tantalizing, and terrifying all at once. I felt the weight of responsibility settling upon my shoulders, the burden of a choice that could alter the course of human history. "What do we know about the architects?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper, breaking the silence. Rachel stepped forward, her eyes shining with a mix of excitement and trepidation. "From what we can gather, they're an ancient civilization, possibly older than the universe itself. They seem to have a profound understanding of the fabric of reality, manipulating energy and matter on a cosmic scale." I felt a shiver run down my spine as I considered the implications. "And what do they want from us?" "We're not entirely sure," Rachel admitted, her brow furrowed in concentration. "The message is cryptic, but it seems they're offering this technology as a gift, or a test to prove our worth." I took a deep breath, my mind racing with the possibilities. This could be the key to humanity's ascendance, a chance to transcend our limitations and become something more. But at what cost? What kind of power were we talking about, and what would be the consequences of wielding it? "I need more information," I said, my voice firm. "I want to know everything we can about the architects, their motivations, and this technology. We need to understand the risks and benefits before we make a decision." My team nodded, dispersing to their stations to begin the task of unraveling the secrets of the architects. I watched them go, my eyes lingering on Rachel's determined expression. She was right. This was a test, a challenge to humanity's resolve. And I knew that I had to make a choice, one that would determine the course of human history forever. As I stood there, lost in thought, a faint hum began to build in the distance. It grew louder, a low rumble that seemed to vibrate through every cell in my body. The screens flickered, the data streaming across them in a mad dance of light and color. Suddenly, the room was bathed in an intense, pulsing light. The air seemed to charge with an electric energy, and I felt myself being drawn toward the screens. The message was changing, shifting, and reforming before my very eyes. I felt a sense of awe, of wonder, as I realized the truth. The architects were not just offering us a gift, they were initiating contact, calling out to us across the vast expanse of space and time. And I knew that I had to respond, to reach out and answer their call. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and I knew that I had to make a choice. I took a deep breath, my heart pounding with anticipation. I would respond to the architects, and I would shape the course of human history forever. I raised my hand, and the room fell silent. The pulsing light enveloped me, drawing me into its vortex of energy and possibility. I felt the weight of destiny settling upon my shoulders, the burden of a choice that would alter the course of human history forever. "We will respond," I declared, my voice firm and resolute. "We will make contact with the architects and claim our place among the galactic community." Rachel's eyes sparkled with excitement as she stepped forward. "I'll begin transmitting the response, Ambrose. But we need to be cautious. We don't know what kind of power we're dealing with here." "I understand," I said, my gaze locked on the screens as the data continued to flow across them. "Well, proceed with caution, but we will proceed. This is our chance to take the next step in human evolution." The room erupted into a flurry of activity as my team sprang into action, working to transmit our response to the architects. I watched them, my heart pounding with anticipation as the seconds ticked by like hours. Then suddenly the screens flickered and went dark. The room fell silent, and I felt a sense of trepidation creeping up my spine. "What's happening?" I asked, my voice low and urgent. Rachel's brow furrowed in concentration. "I'm not sure, Ambrose. It's as if the connection has been severed." But before she could finish, the screens flickered back to life. A message scrolled across them, the words blazing with an otherworldly energy. "Greetings, humanity," the message read. "We have received your response. We will initiate contact shortly. Prepare yourselves for the next step in your evolution." I felt a shiver run down my spine as I read the words. This was it. This was the moment of truth. The architects were coming, and our world would never be the same again. I turned to my team, my eyes locking on Rachel's determined expression. "Get ready," I said, my voice firm and resolute. "We're about to take the next step into the unknown." The room erupted into a flurry of activity as we prepared for the arrival of the architects. I watched, my heart pounding with anticipation as the seconds ticked by like hours. And then, suddenly, the air seemed to shimmer and distort. A vortex of energy appeared, swirling with an otherworldly power. I felt a sense of awe, of wonder. As I realized the truth, the architects had arrived. I stepped forward, my eyes locked on the vortex. I knew that this was it, this was the moment of truth. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and I knew that I had to make a choice. I took a deep breath, my heart pounding with anticipation. I would face whatever lay on the other side of that vortex, and I would shape the course of human history forever. As I stepped forward, the vortex seemed to pulse with an energy that resonated deep within me. I felt a sense of connection, of unity, with the universe itself, as if the very fabric of reality was unfolding before me. The air seemed to vibrate with an otherworldly hum, and I could feel the weight of the galaxy's attention upon me. I knew that this was a moment of cosmic significance, one that would echo throughout the expanse of space and time. I took another step, my senses heightened, my awareness expanded. The vortex swirled around me, a kaleidoscope of colors and patterns that defied comprehension. And then, suddenly, I was through. I emerged on the other side, my eyes adjusting to the unfamiliar surroundings. I found myself standing on a platform of gleaming silver, surrounded by an assembly of beings unlike any I had ever seen. They were the architects, ancient and powerful, their forms shifting and flowing like liquid crystal. Their eyes, pools of pure energy, regarded me with an unblinking gaze. I stood tall, my heart pounding with excitement and a hint of fear. I knew that I was the representative of humanity, the ambassador of our species to the galactic community. "Greetings, Ambrose Wynter," one of the architects spoke, its voice like a symphony of stars. "We have been waiting for you. We have been waiting for humanity to take its place among the intergalactic community." I bowed my head, my mind racing with the implications of this moment. "I am honored to be here," I said, my voice steady and clear. "I am honored to represent humanity in this historic moment." The architect nodded, its form shifting and flowing like a river of light. "We have observed humanity's progress, Ambrose. We have seen your species' potential, your capacity for cooperation and innovation, and we have determined that humanity is ready to take the next step in its evolution." I felt a surge of pride and excitement mixed with a hint of trepidation. What did the architects mean by the next step? What lay ahead for humanity, and what would be the cost of our ascension? The architect's gaze seemed to bore into my very soul, as if it could read the thoughts and doubts that swirled within me. And then, in a flash of insight, I understood. The architects were not just ancient beings of power, they were also guardians, caretakers of the galaxy's delicate balance of power. And they had a proposition for humanity, one that would change the course of our history forever. "What do you propose?" I asked, my voice low and measured. The architect's form shifted and flowed, its eyes burning with an inner light. "We propose an alliance, Ambrose, an alliance between humanity and the galactic community. Together, we can achieve greatness. We can explore the depths of space and unlock the secrets of the universe." I felt a sense of wonder, of awe, as I considered the implications of this proposition. An alliance with the galactic community, it was a possibility that had never occurred to me before. But as I looked into the architect's eyes, I saw something there, a glimmer of warning, of caution. There was more to this proposal than met the eye, more than the architect was letting on. I knew that I had to be cautious, that I had to consider the consequences of this alliance. I knew that the fate of humanity hung in the balance, and that I had to make a choice, one that would shape the course of our history forever. I hesitated, my mind racing with the possibilities and pitfalls of this alliance. I knew that I had to weigh the benefits of cooperation against the risks of dependence, and that I had to consider the motivations of the architects, their true intentions hidden behind a veil of words. The architect's gaze seemed to bore into me, as if it could sense my hesitation, my doubts. And then, in a flash of insight, I saw it, a glimmer of fear, of uncertainty in the architect's eyes. It was a fleeting moment, a flicker of emotion, but it was enough. I knew that the architects were not omnipotent, that they too had weaknesses and vulnerabilities. And in that moment, I knew what I had to do. "I accept your proposal," I said, my voice firm and resolute. "But I must know more about the terms of this alliance, about what it means for humanity, and about what we can expect from this partnership." The architect's form seemed to relax, its gaze softening as if it had been expecting this response. "Very well, Ambrose," it said. "We shall discuss the terms of the alliance, and we shall reveal to you the secrets of the galaxy." I nodded, my heart pounding with excitement as the architect led me to a vast, crystal throne room, filled with beings from across the galaxy, all gathered to bear witness to this historic moment. As I took my place at the throne, surrounded by the galactic community, I knew that I was about to embark on a journey that would change the course of human history forever. I was about to uncover secrets that had been hidden for centuries, and to forge an alliance that would shape the future of the galaxy. But as I looked around at the gathered beings, I saw something that made my heart skip a beat. A figure, familiar yet strange, standing at the edge of the assembly. It was a woman, her features hauntingly familiar, her eyes burning with an inner fire. And in that moment, I knew that I had seen her before, in my dreams, in my visions of the future. Who was she? What was her role in this grand drama? And what did her presence mean for humanity's future? I felt a sense of trepidation, of foreboding as I gazed upon her, and I knew that I had to uncover the truth about her, and about the secrets that lay hidden behind the architect's words. For in that moment, I knew that the fate of humanity hung in the balance, and that I had to make a choice, one that would decide the course of our history forever.